Good evening, everybody. Welcome into episode 20 of Uncle Jimmy's podcast, season 1 finale. We're going to be getting into who is the scariest villain in horror movies. But before we start, I'd like to give a big shout out to Ferg's Custom Cards. You can follow him at Ferg's Custom Cards on Instagram and Facebook. And what he does is very unique. He creates custom cards one of one. If you think of it, Ferg can make it. So I want to give a big shout out to all the fans, all the supporters, everybody that has joined me for this first season of Uncle Jimmy's podcast. It's been great, a lot of fun. I literally just was sitting in front of my house the other day, and somebody drove by. Hey, Uncle Jimmy! It was so exciting, so fun to see. Thank you for everyone that's been there. Thank you for those that support. I love it. I appreciate it, and everybody keep your head up. Days will get better. Some days are good, some days are bad, but, just push through it. So this is a Halloween edition season finale. And the top 10, they say, horror movie villains, the scariest, starts off number 10, Jigsaw from the Saw franchise. I've never seen those, so I don't know. Number 9 comes in with Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th franchise. I love Jason, but scary? No. But one of my favorite ones is when we were kids, we would sit out at Mary Catherine O'Brien's and watch Voorhees, and Frankie and the young kids would come in. I'd be watching it, and the best was would sit there dying, laughing, having classic, watching Friday the 13th when he was on the boat and they were taking off and he was just hanging on to the anchor, just classic shit. Number 8 is The Entity from It Follows. Number 7 is Pazuzu from The Exorcist. Number 6, Chucky from the Chucky franchise. Chucky used to scare the shit out of me. Michael Myers from the Halloween franchise, number 5. Number 4, Chatterer from Hellraiser. Number 3, Pennywise from It in It Chapter 2. I can't watch Pennywise. Pennywise scares the shit out of me. Number 2 comes Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street. And then number 1 is Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. For me, the scariest villain is Fred Krueger. Me and Ruka used to have watch Fred Krueger outside in the daytime and out in front of my house when we were kids. But Freddy Krueger used to scare the absolute shit out of me. So we'd drag the TV out front, Ruka and I, and we would put the TV on. We'd watch Krueger. And Fred Krueger was just the one that scared me the most. When I was a kid, I had a Freddy Krueger doll and a figure. And every night, Mom and Dad would be like, time for bed, kids. And I'd go upstairs, and all of a sudden, they would hear thump, 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 thump. I'd throw the Freddy Krueger down the stairs out of my room because it scared the shit out of me. But then when I woke up in the morning, Freddy Krueger would be back in a different spot. And I always thought Freddy Krueger was out to get me. When I was a kid, I had dreams of Freddy Krueger. Freddy was just absolutely scary. He would come through, and we had these double doors at my house on 29 Helena that I vividly remember, and Freddy Krueger would always jump through it, and as he jumped through it, he was about to get me, but he never got me because I would wake up. But to me, Freddy Krueger is the scariest villain that there is. So today, this is where real-life horror meets the supernatural. I'm your host, Uncle Jimmy, and tonight, we're diving into a nightmare that inspired one of cinema's most iconic villains, and the haunted legends that still echo through the streets of Boston. The Nightmare That Killed. In the early 1980s, a disturbing story appeared in the LA Times. A family who had escaped the killing fields of Cambodia had finally found safety in the United States. But peace was short-lived. The young son began having terrifying nightmares. He told his parents that if he fell asleep, something would get him, so he stayed awake for days. When he finally succumbed to exhaustion, his parents thought the worst was over. But that night, they heard screams. By the time they reached him, he was dead. He had died in his sleep. The chilling account haunted filmmaker Wes Craven. To him, it just wasn't a tragic anomaly. It was a metaphor, a child tormented by something no one else could see, a horror that adults dismissed until it was too late. That story became the seed for A Nightmare on Elm Street. But Craven needed more than a concept. He needed a monster, a villain who could haunt your dreams, literally. He reached into his own childhood. One night, young Wes looked out his window and saw a man walking down the street. The man stopped, turned, and stared directly at him. He wore a battered fedora and a look that chilled Craven to the bone. That man became Freddy Krueger. His name, borrowed from Craven's childhood bully, Fred Krueger. His burned face, his bladed glove, his twisted sense of humor, all designed to be like any other monster before him. Freddy just wasn't a killer. He was a symbol of repressed trauma, of fears that fester in the dark corners of the mind. So that's the story of Fred Krueger and how it became and how Wes Craven took it. You know, a man walking down the street in a fedora scared the shit out of him, and the story of the Cambodian family that, you know, left the killing fields and came to America, and their son died in his sleep, and just some crazy shit. And Freddy Krueger, to me, like I said, is the scariest villain that there is. So next, we're going to talk about Boston's haunted grounds. Nightmares don't just live in movies. Some are buried in the soil beneath our feet. Let's travel to downtown Boston, a city steeped in colonial history and ghost stories. Boston Common, the oldest public park in America, was once a site of public executions. Pirates, Quakers, and accused witches were hanged there. Some say their spirits never left. Two women in the 19th century dresses are often seen walking hand in hand. A redcoat soldier appears in subway tunnels, musket in hand. And Mary Dyer, a Quaker executed for her faith, is said to weep beneath the trees, though history tells us she died elsewhere. Then there's the headless woman. Legend says her coffin was too small, so a grave digger cut off her head. Now her spirit roams, seeking revenge. And the man buried alive, a fear so common in the 1800s that coffins were fitted with bells just in case. In 1650, decades before the Salem witch trials, a woman named Alice Lake claimed to see the ghost of her dead child. The Puritans called it witchcraft. She was hanged. Her story is one of the earliest recorded witchcraft accusations in New England, and her ghost is said to linger still. And then there's the Captain Kid, a pirate turned prisoner. Legend says that if you tap on his headstone at midnight and ask why he was hanged, he won't answer, but you might not sleep well afterward. So what connects a Cambodian boy's fatal nightmare, a Hollywood slasher, and the ghost of Boston? Trauma, memory, denial. Whether it's Freddy Krueger stalking your dreams or a headless woman haunting a graveyard, these stories remind us what we bury doesn't always stay buried, and what we fear often finds a way back. So the last segment of the podcast, we're going to get into one of the scariest places and regions in the United States. Some of you may not have heard of it. Some of you may have, but it's called the Bridgewater Triangle. The Bridgewater Triangle is a loosely defined area in southeastern Massachusetts, first named by cryptozoologist Loren Coleman in 1978. It stretches roughly 200 square miles, anchored by the towns of Abington to the north, Freetown to the south, and Rehoboth to the east. But this just isn't a triangle on a map. It's a vortex of the unexplained, a place where legends, sightings, and strange phenomena converge. From UFOs and cryptids to cults and curses, the triangle has earned its reputation as one of the most paranormally active regions in America. The Hockomock Swamp, places where spirits dwell. At the heart of the triangle lies the Hockomock Swamp, nearly 17,000 acres of dense wetlands. Its name comes from the Algonquin word meaning place where spirits dwell. To Native Americans, it was sacred. To colonial settlers, it was feared. Eyewitnesses have reported floating orbs of light, shadowy figures vanishing into the mist, and even Bigfoot-like creatures stalking the woods. Some believe the swamp is a spiritual gateway, a place where the veil between worlds is thin. What do you guys think? I think I would love to be driving through the Bridgewater Triangle and see a Bigfoot-like creature come out of nowhere, or shadowy figures vanishing into the mist. All they got to do is go to Dorchester. You can see a lot of shadowy figures vanishing into the mist there. And then we're going to get into UFOs over the triangle. The skies above the triangle are no less mysterious. Since the 1960s, residents have reported silent, glowing lights hovering over fields, metallic discs darting through the clouds, and triangular crafts that defy the laws of physics. One of the most famous incidents occurred in 1976, when multiple witnesses saw a large red light moving erratically over Rehoboth. Was it military? extraterrestrial, or something else entirely? The Freetown Fall River State Forest. The Freetown Fall River State Forest, located within the Triangle, has a dark reputation. Police investigations have uncovered animal sacrifices, ritualistic markings, and even murders linked to alleged satanic cults. In 2001, the mutilated remains of two men were found in the forest, their deaths linked to a cult. Locals say the forest has an oppressive energy, and many refuse to enter after dark. The Triangle is home to a bizarre bestiary, giant snakes slithering across roads, thunderbirds with wingspans over 12 feet, and shadowy humanoid figures that vanish when approached. One of those persistent legends is the Pukwudgie, a small troll-like creature from Wampanoag folklore. They're said to lure people into the woods, cause mischief, and even push victims off cliffs. Are these cryptids real, or manifestations of something deeper? Then there's Dighton Rock, a 40-ton boulder covered in mysterious petroglyphs found along the Taunton River. No one knows who carved them. Theories range from the Native Americans to Norse explorers, even extraterrestrials. The rock is now housed in a museum, but its message remains undeciphered, a silent witness to the Triangle's ancient mystery. The Triangle's haunted reputation may stem from the violent colonial past. During King Philip's War in the 1670s, the region saw brutal battles between native tribes and English settlers. Entire villages were burned, mass executions took place, and sacred land was desecrated. Some believe the Triangle is cursed, a spiritual scar left by centuries of bloodshed. Even today, the Triangle continues to produce chilling accounts. A man driving through the forest sees a pale figure dart across the road. A group of teens camping near the swamp hear whispers and footsteps circling their tent. A woman walking her dog sees glowing eyes in the trees, and her dog refuses to move. So what explains the Bridgewater Triangle? Geological theory? Some believe the land emits electromagnetic energy that affects perception. Psychological theory? Others say it's a mass hysteria fueled by folklore. Spiritual theory? And some insist it's a cursed land, a place where trauma and memory refuse to fade. Whatever the truth, the Triangle remains one of America's most enduring mysteries. I'd just like to thank you guys for joining me on this one. Whether you believe in ghosts, cryptids, or curses, this region reminds us that some places hold stories too strange to ignore. I would just like to take a minute to thank everybody that's joined for Season 1. Season 1's been great. I've had a lot of feedback, a lot of praise, a lot of criticism, but I'm a one-man show. I do it myself, and I love what I do. Season 2 is going to be coming up, so stay tuned for Season 2. Season 2, we're going to be, we've locked in about six or eight guests, from authors to retired law enforcement to business owners, so some comedians. So we got a lot of stuff coming up. We're going to have a daughter of a mafia figure from the South Boston area come on and talk about her dad and what happened. So we got a lot of stuff coming up in Season 2 I'm excited about. And I want to thank you all for joining, for commenting, liking, sharing. It's been great. You know, it's been a lot of fun to do this, an outlet for me to get the stories out to people, get the stories out to everybody that wants to hear it. And, you know, Season 2 is going to be great. We're going to be doing a lot of interviews Season 2. We're going to be taking a break for a couple weeks, though. I'm not sure if it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks, but we're going to be taking a break, and it's going to be interesting, Season 2. And again, you guys can contact me at unclejimmyspodcast@gmail.com. You can shoot me a text, 617-777-2952, and go like and share my Facebook, Instagram page at Uncle Jimmy's Podcast. And, you know, shoot me a text if you want to join the show. I'd love to have anybody on from the neighborhood, anybody that has a story. My platform's open to any and all, and I would love to have you on, tell your story, tell you how it's affected you, how your life's going, whether you're a business owner, whether you're just a kid from the neighborhood. I would love to have you on. So we're going to call it quits here on Season 1. This has been the season finale. This has been the shortest one to go, but we talked about Fred Krueger, the scariest villain who I believe in horror films. Talked about a little legends from the Boston Common and then the Bridgewater Triangle. So I'm glad that everybody was able to join, like, share, comment, and I just appreciate all you guys. J1, peace and love. Peace and love. Uncle Jimmy out.